You had your chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from Rock Solid Studios in Granite Falls, it's time for MinneZona Sports, live with DJ Matty C. and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back here in Rock Solid Studios in Granite Falls. I'm your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Kelly, a.k.a. Kelly, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., 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 and all the way from Woods and Shores Studios in Aiken, Minnesota, Paul Voldy, Shield. What's going on, Shield?
You know, I wish I could be feeling as good as Tom Brady is right now, even after just a little bit of avocado tequila, but we are doing fantastic. I feel a little bit under the weather. I got my heated blanket. I'm wearing a sweatshirt. I'm not going to have the full get up and grandiose here for this week, but, you know, I'm just going to let the numbers speak for themselves. We got another fantastic show lined up for tonight.
We really do. I mean, this is post Super Bowl, okay? And, you know, people are excited for us to talk about what transpired. I mean, it wasn't anything we were expecting, for one. But we're going to be talking about it because I think we're going to, actually, for Voldy's Virtues this week, Voldy, you're talking Tom Brady. So, I mean, we're going all the way with Super Bowl talk to get things rolling. But let's get things started because the Zoners have been waiting. I've been waiting. You've been waiting. So let's get into it. Let's get into some Tater Tot. Man, gosh, that's a hot take. Let's go.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
So apparently, someone finally figured out I'm a little loud when I start the show because we want to get things going. Yeah, you don't say. I didn't think that was it. My poor ears. Well, I apologize, Seth. Looks like we have a new zoner, so he's getting the experience like everybody else. So, but thank you for tuning in. I promise I won't be as loud as I was at the first, but hey, there's still a lot of show to get through. If we're talking an NFC 2009 NFC Championship game. Man, don't even get me started. All right, Voldy, let's get it rolling. Super Bowl 55 fallout. First, let's get your thoughts on the games. Yeah, the full experience, exactly, Seth. But this game really wasn't something we were both expecting. We thought this was going to be a shootout. We thought this was going to be, KC and Tampa Bay trading punches, but it really wasn't. So, Voldy, I mean, your thoughts on the game overall, what do you think?
Well, just looking at overall, if you would have told me Tom Brady would have been nearly perfect in this contest, I probably would have said, okay, I'll believe you until he throws the first interception on, the first two drives or something like that. This was a complete dismantling of the defense for Kansas City. He got inside their head a quarter and a half into the game. He was yucking it up with Tyrann Mathieu. He was giving the ball to everybody that we thought was going to make an impact. 2 touchdowns for Gronk in the first half. I mean, I certainly did not think that Gronk was going to get the ball even twice to begin with, let alone 2 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette scores, even Antonio Brown scores.
Yeah.
Those 3 guys weren't even on the team to begin the year for Tampa Bay, and lo and behold, they're the ones that do all the scoring. The rushing attack finished off right where they needed to, about 150 yards rushing. That was going to be the big difference maker in that contest. It worked out perfect because they didn't need to throw the ball all that much. 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. Again, not gaudy numbers, but 21 for 29. Couple of passes that could have been very close to right into the defensive playing. But even on the other side of the ball, the defense for Tampa Bay just did not let Patrick Mahomes get comfy at all, even when he's out there making Superman throws and just throwing the ball from his backside as he's flying through midair, still trying to make plays. And lo and behold, it's the defense for Tampa Bay that pressured him enough to get the ball out of their hands. Antoine Winfield Jr. comes up with an interception. He gets his revenge from early in the year. I mean, it was just fantastic to see overall. But Kansas City, you got to tip your hat to the GOAT and Tampa Bay for what they've done this year.
You really do. And for one, I want to make a formal apology to my brother-in-law for picking the Chiefs over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was again, everybody, I mean, even the zoners said on our poll, it was 50-50. All the zoners voted, it was 50-50. I mean, it could have gone either way. And, of course, it goes the Bucs' way. And I said, at the Super Bowl special on Sunday, I will be happy with whoever wins. And I'm happy for the Bucs because not only that, my brother-in-law's happy. Voldy, you are extremely happy. I mean, it's great. And especially Antoine Winfield Jr. gets a ring. Tyler Johnson gets a ring. Former Gophers. I mean, let's go. Let's go. But
let's also talk about the fact that Brainerd native Joe Haig almost caught a touchdown in that game.
Oh, so close!
Right there, hits him in the face, and he gets broken up. I mean, the whole
that was your one
northern half of the state would have lost their damn minds if he would have caught that, because he went to NDSU too.
He did.
It's crazy.
He did. Gosh darn it! I wish he would have caught it though. And Nick saying "told you," he said "told you." Yeah. Well, I got to listen to you more. How about that? Yeah, listen to you more, Nick. Thank you for the mini donuts, by the way, Nick. I think I came close to predicting the score. I don't know. I can't even remember what your score was, to be honest. You'll have to remind me, and maybe we get you a free sticker. Who knows? And be honest about it. Don't cheat us out of it. But
no, totally was 31-9. Totally.
Yeah, totally. I guessed it right on the nose.
Right, dead on.
Right, dead on. Right. And Easy A says Antoine Winfield Jr. Easy A loves Winfield. And who won? Who won? Let's see. Sharing cousin Matt. Hey, Jackie, good to see you. All the way from Philadelphia, New Jersey area. Oh, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Well. Look who it is here, Mr. Blake Hawker. It's about time. Vikings are just one QB away from being Super Bowl relevant as well. Oh, I know what you're trying to do, and this is what you're doing. You're trying to get us going here, and I'm not taking the bait, Blake. I'm not taking the bait. But anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about. We have to give a lot of credit to one person. I feel like one person really did a good job. This coach did a fantastic. Todd Bowles deserves
absolutely
all the credit for doing what he did and containing Patrick Mahomes and just harassing. I mean, Mahomes was running around like a madman. He could not run around for. He's throwing all these miraculous passes, and for one, a lot of his receivers couldn't catch anything. And when you have Mike Remmers at left tackle, oh God, this is what happens. That's why he's on. It stinks with Eric Fisher being hurt and injured for however long, but it's frustrating to me why they should have had a better game plan for that. And Mahomes did everything that he could to get them to where they need, they could actually do something, but they're kicking field goals. They're making stupid penalties. I mean, that was unlike the Chiefs. I mean, what the hell happened to the Chiefs? But Todd Bowles deserves a lot of credit, and he had a game plan, and they stuck with it, and they did not let Mahomes, go run rampant. They stopped the run. Kelsey had a couple nice catches, but again, it's the Tampa Bay defense. JPP was fantastic. Shaq Barrett was fantastic.
Shaq Barrett was a freak in that game.
He was a beast. So a lot of good to come out of that. Waste of $30 million a year. Oh boy, here we go with the Kirk stuff. Can we just talk about Super Bowl? Could we spend it on the line? Well, I've been saying that too. I mean, that's what we've been saying. Let's stick with Super Bowl, please. First game, Mahomes didn't throw a TD. Exactly, and he threw 2 picks. So you throw that in there as well. That's what you're gonna get. Next Gen Stats said he ran for nearly 500 yards in that game with turf toe too. I mean,
yeah, he's
that's
got to be hurting
painful.
Real bad.
And I'm glad he's getting surgery on that, by the way. More on that in a second. Does this prove Reed isn't that great of a coach after all? I think he is. I think he is. I just think I think the shuffling of the offensive line gave them so much trouble that they weren't able to recover from. But stupid penalties.
Well, three out of the 5 players moved positions into that game, like to begin the playoffs or something along those lines. When you do that, the only person that isn't moving is the center. That's going to change up a whole lot of things, especially when at the beginning of the year, you lost one of your best players in Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. Medical doctor, by the way, great name as well, Canadian out of the University of Manitoba. But you throw that into the mix too. It was just amazing to see that, obviously Patrick Mahomes was able to compete at the level that he did this season, considering the fact he had an entirely reshuffled offensive line.
Exactly. And, Blake brought this up too with, Mahomes. He'll have a good career. They just need a GM to buy an O-line or he'll be Luck 2.0. Well, I hope not, but I think Mahomes, I feel like they'll be back. The question is how are they going to, get the offensive line back to where it was when they won the Super Bowl. So there's that. Injuries play into this as well. And Andy Reid had other things on his mind, which is true, with his son and whatnot. So you got to factor that in too. Mets brings up a good point. Max Graybo. Oh, well. There he is.
You'll see, Max.
Yeah. Brady and Gronk just have chemistry that most players don't. I think that made a big difference.
Huge.
I give some, and here's the thing. This is tough for me to say, but I got to give some credit to Huntley because Hunt said Gronk 2 TDs, and actually Clancy said that.
We'll never give Huntley credit for anything.
Yeah. And Gronk and Voldy, remember, at the Super Bowl special, we said, I don't think Gronk gets over 50 yards. He got 63 and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean,
there you go.
Gronk resurgent again. So, shout out to Gronk for that.
Well, that's the thing. They weren't looking for him. Kansas City defense, he was like the 5th man down on the depth chart behind Brady, too. So, obviously, there's not going to be enough defenders, and given the size and his ability still to this day, I mean, it's no surprise that he got 2 touchdowns as well. It's just a matter of fact how soon that it came as well with this whole season. Cameron Brate was a bit of an afterthought.
Yep.
They threw the ball to Hudson once for an attempt at a touchdown, but 2 touchdowns for Gronk is definitely no surprise in my mind.
And then you have playoff Lenny kicking butt too. He had 16 carries, 89 yards, a touchdown.
Yep.
Rojo had 61 yards. I mean, they went over what we put them at, so they definitely ran the ball very well.
Probably lost a lot of money with our bets.
Yeah. And even when we picked tails too, tails never fails. Well, it did. It did. So there's that.
Did that time.
Yeah, it did that time. All right. Moving aside from the just what we thought of the game, the fourth quarter, Voldy, this was interesting. There was a streaker that went on the field and went by. And while I was watching this, I was just like, oh, there's a streaker, whatever. But I didn't see what happened afterward. Apparently, he took off his shirt and then he's wearing, a Speedo or something like that.
Like a leotard or something.
Showing his ass cheeks. I mean, it's like, oh my God. It's like he will not be invited to any more NFL games ever. But it's like,
worth it.
Apparently, I mean, if you want to pay the hefty fine and whatnot. But I just thought, that's kind of another funny thing that happened during the Super Bowl. I mean, the thing is, you got to laugh at something, and I definitely laughed at it. I'm sure you laughed at it as well. So
the more funny part is Kevin Harlan's call of it.
Yes.
That's the cherry on top, because I knew as soon as I saw a streaker on the field, the first thing I thought of, oh my God, Kevin Harlan is going to have the greatest call of that of all time, and it's great. As soon as I thought of that, I pulled up the old one from the Monday Night Football game, and it was just from like 4 or 5 years ago, and still to this day is perfect. And he did the one with the cat on the field for Monday Night Football, and Kevin Harlan is just a national treasure.
He is a national treasure, and he told him, the guy's wearing a bra, be a man, or something like that. That was
he slides down to the 1 yard line.
Genius.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, be a man.
Love it, Voldy. Very well done.
He's at the 30.
The 40. Nick brings up a nice one here. He was in the end zone more times than the Chiefs.
Nice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You hold them to field goals. That's what That's what happens. But, so yeah, you had the streaker. That was all good and fun. The next thing I want to talk about too is Mahomes with the turf toe. And the reason why I bring this up, Voldy, is because we saw how much effort he put into trying to win the game for his team. And with that turf toe, I think Mahomes will... If Mahomes was fully healthy, do you think, and I'm going to ask the zoners this too, if he was fully healthy, do you think this game would have been a little different, more different, or just kind of like, no, there's nothing he could have done even if he was healthy? What do you think, Voldy?
I mean, honestly, if you would have told me that he had turf toe to start the game, the way he was playing early on, I don't know if it would have made much of a difference.
Yeah.
You really didn't see it until after halftime when he started limping and into the third quarter as well. And that time I was just like, I was trying to remember why he was limping. He didn't really take that hard of a hit. It's like, oh yeah, he's got the turf toe. And the fact that he was still out there making the plays that he did, I think it would have been more competitive like Victor put up.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it would have ultimately made a difference with the fact that, with Tampa Bay's defense with their ears pinned back and just getting after him.
Right, and the thing is what this shows, you need to have a comparable O-line. And this isn't against a knock against the Chiefs because, again, with injuries, Eric Fisher, Tardif, like you mentioned as well, being out, opting out of the 2020 season. The thing is I felt like they didn't have a solid plan for when Eric Fisher went down. They said, well, we're going to move Mike Remmers to left tackle. He really didn't fare well. I think we all agree on that. But I also think, too, you have to give credit to Todd Bowles and what he was able to do against that. Because he knows, okay, these guys are vulnerable at the line. We got to, throw in blitzes. I mean, JPP, he's playing with 4 fingers, and he's still able to get to the pass and whatnot. Vita Vea being back in the lineup helped too. Levante Devin White. Oh, my gosh. I've never seen a guy he was all over the field, and it's crazy. He is a beast. And that was a solid pickup in the draft for the Buccaneers. So the Buccaneers are definitely...
LSU.
Yeah, LSU guy too, so you have that. But what I'm saying here is that it's hard to win in this league if you don't at least have a comparable, above-average O-line. And we've seen that with the Vikings when it's the interior guard play, with Dozier. And then when Elfline was around. Reef didn't have a great season 2 seasons ago, but this past season he was fantastic, which maybe is due to the interior of the guard play. Who knows?
Right.
But I still think in the NFL I don't care who you can be Russell Wilson and run around the field. You need a good O-line to be successful. So that's how I look at it, and I think Mahomes, it's a smart thing. Undergo surgery. I think he will be okay. So. Nick says, same. Lack of O-line caused the problems. The amount of hits he had didn't help. Exactly. And again, the thing is he never got completely rattled or anything I'm sure he was frustrated, but he kept playing, man, and I give him a lot of credit. You definitely respect that. Most likely to be in the Super Bowl next year, Chiefs or Bucks? I'm leaning more towards the Bucks because they proved something to me. So I'm kind of leaning towards the Bucks. What do you think,
I'm going
Voldy?
with Victor. I'm saying both. We're going rematch,
Okay.
Super Bowl 56.
I like it. I'm fine. I think it would be great. But who knows? I mean, there might be a team that overtakes
Cleveland's
the Bucks.
on the up and up.
Exactly. There you go. But I'm just trying to be optimistic, right?
Another question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think this loss and the lack of offensive playmaking ability, do you think that's going to hurt Eric Bieniemy's chances of getting a head coaching job next year?
That's a good question.
Not this coming season, but obviously the season after.
The season after. I don't think so. And the reason why I say that is because it's the O-line issue that they had, and they didn't let Tyreek Hill beat them. Because last time that this happened, basically they were like, we're just going to go deep and make sure that, he doesn't beat us deep, and that's what they did. Met says also missed their left guard who's helping fight COVID, like I said before. Exactly.
Doctor.
Jimbo says, yes, exactly. The doctor. Jimbo says Chiefs, which, again, I can respect. I don't disagree with Jimbo.
Better cohesive unit, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I think Tampa Bay, there's a couple of pieces out there that, maybe this offseason or, as the season develops, things might shake up a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. But, to answer your question, though, Voldy, I would say I don't think it's going to affect much. But for some reason, how he hasn't been hired yet, I'm curious to why that is. So,
I don't know.
That's something that I just can't figure out for myself. But
because he's been offensive coordinator now, this will be his third season. This past season.
Yes, yeah.
I think it was his second because he took over for Matt Nagy.
Yes, yeah. So
at
it
least
must be
his second
3.
year. So
Yeah. So maybe
I don't know if maybe
2,
that
3,
isn't helping the lack of quote unquote experience, but I mean the production is there, so I don't see why you couldn't, pull the trigger on that.
Well, right. You put that into perspective too. So, but one last thing, because this is something to where I had actually Easy A over to watch the Super Bowl, and we were watching the game. All of a sudden, I think someone broke up a pass, and it was this guy named Antoine Winfield Jr. I think you know what I'm talking about, and he taunted Tyreek Hill with the peace sign, telling him, because that's what Tyreek did to Antoine Winfield Jr. Yeah, deuces. And at the beginning in the regular season, and then Antoine Winfield comes back and was like, nah, fam, I got this. They're up by 22 or something like that. Gets the flag, doesn't even care. I loved it. Even though I picked the Chiefs, at the same time, I loved it because it is so cool to see Antoine Winfield Jr. be able to win a Super Bowl in his rookie year and whatnot, and then have no remorse for what he did. I gotta give him claps. Voldy, your thoughts on what Winfield did to Hill?
I mean, that is just poetic justice. People never forget. A guy never forgets. Antoine Winfield Jr. did it for senior. Fantastic to see, and I just love the fact that he did it on the grand stage. And, of course, obviously they were up at the time. Didn't really make a difference. Kansas City still didn't put the ball in the end zone and did their job. It was just fantastic to see Antoine Winfield Jr. get his, we'll go out there and start snatching chains, basically.
Yeah, like we're going to pull a Keep Talib thing on Crabtree type of thing. But, Nick brought up Tyler Johnson, too, and, I mentioned that as well, Joe Hag, like you said, Voldy. And it's, Hill had 7 catches, 73 yards. But for Antoine Winfield Jr. to go out there and say, no, I'm getting this guy back, and he did, and he let him know, too. And, again, like you said, poetic justice, and he had no remorse of it, and I want to read what he said too. So let me take a look here because I want to. He said something after the game. Yeah, he said the taunting, it was just something I had to do. When we played them earlier, Hill went off on us. He backflipped in front of my face and gave me the peace sign. So it was only right that I give him the peace sign right back to him at this moment. It felt amazing to be able to do that. I'm not even going to lie. Claps. Claps all around. And then Victor brings up a nice one, too. I did see this as well, Voldy. The photo of Junior and Senior hugging is fantastic. Absolutely. I love it because Senior never got the opportunity. Yeah, don't you cry. Don't you cry. I'm going to pinch you. But, like I was saying with Senior, even though Antoine Winfield Sr. should have been in the Super Bowl in 2009. We won't get into that, but it was great to see, the father-son duo hugging after the game and whatnot. And, again, you can't forget about the other Gophers as well with Tyler Johnson, Joe Hag. Not Gophers, but, Minnesota products as well. But it's great to see. And, again, the thing is the Zoners had a fun time watching the game. Nobody was close with their scores, so I guess we're not giving away stickers. But you can still get stickers only for $2. You can get this one for $2. You can get this one for $2. But if you want to go a little bigger size, you can get this one for $3.
What?
You can get this for $3 as well for a window and stuff. So let us know what you guys would like. So, let's get to our zoners, and then Voldy, let's get to virtues, okay?
Yeah.
Senior is one of my favorite Vikings of all time. To see him embrace Junior was an amazing thing.
I think I
Hands
had
down.
an Antoine Winfield Sr. jersey back in the day. I can't remember if I still do or not, but it's somewhere.
Dude was a playmaker. Like
Yeah, he was.
I mean, both of them. I mean, father-son duo. I mean, they're just so similar. It's crazy, how well they've done so many great things in the NFL, so claps out to the Winfield family. And now, the thing is we haven't talked about this one person yet, Voldy, and I think this is a perfect segue into this because this guy had a lot of fun actually a couple hours ago in Miami and whatnot. So, Voldy, I think you're going to take us to the Temple of Wisdom today and explain why Brady is the GOAT. So why don't we get to some Voldy's virtues?
He has emerged from the Temple of Wisdom. Gather round for Voldy's virtues.
All right, before we get going here, I want to make the best thing. You see it in Junior. They aren't afraid to hit. Exactly.
Yep.
Best tackler and corner I've ever seen, by the way, Antoine Winfield Sr. But, Voldy, let's go to the Temple of Wisdom. Voldy, please enlighten us.
So with now the 7th Super Bowl victory firmly in the hands of a Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., it was no surprise, and it is, to this day, still one statement that has always rang true. Tom Brady is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And I want people to fully realize what they have been seeing since he came into the league in 2000 and started playing in 2001. Once in a generation do players like Tom Brady grace us with their presence and continue to put up numbers and play in and day out, except for the 2008 season when he got hurt, but continue to produce at a high enough level at ages that a player at his position should have retired from years ago and should be on the sideline coaching them up, holding a clipboard. More on that coming up later with Shield Shoutouts. But I just want everybody to stop the hate. What you may have thought of Tom Brady in the past is in the past. It's all in the past. 7 Super Bowls, 10 appearances, 14 championship games, first in the NFC in this past year as well. We need to truly realize that Tom Brady, his days are, with each day that goes by, you don't know what you're going to get. When he left New England, I thought maybe that was it. This year with the Super Bowl, I thought maybe not. He said he's coming back. We don't know. That can mean a million things. He said he's coming back. He said he's not playing next year. That could mean a million things. He could be buying the Buccaneers for all we know with that TB12 money. But let's talk about the fact, let's look at the numbers as well. Because of the fact that Tom Brady has not had just one Hall of Fame career, now 20-plus seasons, he's had 2 Hall of Fame careers. If you split it right down the middle, let's talk about 2000 to 2009 Tom Brady. 3 Super Bowl appearances in 3 Super Bowl wins in 5 appearances, 2-time Super Bowl MVP. He was 111 wins, 36 losses, 63% passer, 253 touchdowns, and 114 interceptions. Yes, those 2 losses to the likes of the New York Giants, which were both flukes in my mind as well. I'm sure not a lot of people would agree with that. You throw in Spygate with that in the mix as well. You throw in one of the greatest seasons of all time with that undefeated regular season all the way to the Super Bowl, which they did not end up winning. Yes, we already know. Go ahead and throw that in my face again. Haven't heard it enough in my lifetime as well. But just in those 10 years alone, Tom Brady could have retired and seriously put up a very strong consideration for a Hall of Fame player.
Sure.
But just like a good wine, everything is better with age. We jump forward 2010 to 2019, but really, in the most part, how about 2015? When that blowout loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, by the way, people thought Tom Brady was done. Jimmy Garoppolo was the future. Well, that didn't work out for anybody in that respect. After the age 33 season, Tom Brady put up 27 more wins, 138 in total, was a better passer at 64%, even put up another 110 touchdowns at 361, and threw 14 less interceptions at 100. 3 Super Bowl wins in 4 appearances, 2-time Super Bowl MVP in 3 of those appearances, 3 of those wins as well. That's not even including this year as well. In this season alone, 100 make that 11-5 record with a brand new team, brand new conference, brand new skill set of players with a new coaching staff in a very, very tough division in the NFC South. 3 straight playoff wins in the first time that he's played in the wild card round, believe it or not, for Tom Brady. 4,600 yards passing, 40 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, Super Bowl 55 champion, and MVP as well. There's players that we see once in a lifetime. And I'm going to throw out some guys.
Sure.
Some people, I should say. You throw Brady in the mix of Michael Jordan. Obviously, he's the GOAT. LeBron James, him and Brady right up there as well, still getting it done to this day. By the way, LeBron celebrated birthday last week. Happy belated birthday, LeBron. Serena Williams as well. She gets thrown into the conversation, which I fully agree with as well. She's put up 23 Grand Slam championships in her time. She doesn't get the recognition that she deserves as well. Winners win, no matter how you want to argue with the greatest of all time. You can throw out all the other alleged events. Spygate, Deflategate,
doesn't matter.
Anything and everything you want to throw out there doesn't tarnish the fact the numbers don't lie about why Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, because you just don't know. He could up and retire tomorrow. He could still be in that, in that drunken haze right now off of tequila. And he could say, you know what, fam, I'm good. I'm just going to live it up here on my yacht, throw the trophy to Gronk again one more time, and deuces with Winfield, and basically TFB out. So I'm just saying, stop the hate. Hail to the GOAT. TFB, LFG, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.
Mic drop. But anyway, yeah, Voldy, I mean, I don't disagree with you. And here's the thing. With what you said, there's a lot of people that don't like Brady. And that's fine. But when you're that big of an icon like Tom Brady is, you're going to get hate everywhere, right? And here's the thing. Voldy, I was one of those haters back early when Brady was going. And I was sick and tired of the Patriots winning. But I just kind of grew to be like, you know what? Can't we just appreciate the fact that they're, that good and they're well put together and whatnot? Now, I have a lot of respect for Tom Brady. Now, I might throw a little shade here to some people, because I know there's some people that are Packers fans on MinneZona Sports Live, and Aints fans possibly. Well, actually, if there are Aints fans, I wouldn't have no. Anyway, anyone's welcome. But Victor put it perfectly here. I don't like Brady, but goddamn do I respect the man. Exactly. And that's kind of how I look at it, too. I'm just like, oh my God, it's Tom Brady, oh my God. I'm just like, okay, yeah, I respect him. He goes out and wins games. And the Deflategate, Voldy, how many times have you and I talked about this? They could have won with a tennis ball, Voldy. They could have won with a tennis ball in that game.
A couple deflated footballs that still doesn't spot you 27 points.
Exactly.
I'll tell you that right now.
Exactly. So
get over it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's frustrating when we hear that and whatnot. And like you said, a good comparison. A lot of people like LeBron. I'm one of the LeBron. I like LeBron. I really do like LeBron. There's a lot of the hater LeBron saying, oh, Jordan's the GOAT. It's like, who gives a rip? Now, I want to say this, though. Tom Brady is way ahead of Aaron Rodgers, okay? And I say that because Tom Brady has the right temperament. Rodgers, not so much. Reason why is because the guy's kind of a jerk. I'm just going to say it flat out. He's a very good talent.
With that.
Yeah, he's a very good talent. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The guy just shows that he just in big spots. And yes, they won the Super Bowl in 2010 because they had a defense and whatnot. But they haven't been back there since. Why can't we point the finger at Rodgers saying, hey, what's going on with you? Whereas Tom Brady goes out there and wins. So I have to throw a little shade at the one GOAT Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, GOAT my
He has many Super Bowls as Brett Favre does.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
So there's that. Even though Brett should have 2 right now, but we'll get that's something different. But just to kind of end this here, there's a lot of, hate with it. It's like, if you don't like Brady, you don't like Brady. Fine. Who cares? That's just how it is. But if you like the man, I respect Brady. I'm not like the, oh my God, Tom Brady type of thing, but I respect him. I respect what he's done. And, gosh darn, he just likes to party. Work hard, play harder. That's kind of how it is right now. So with Mr.
Well, this is the first time you get to actually see Tom Brady do that because of the fact all the other championship victories, it's been, 20 degrees out in Foxborough.
Yeah.
He's out on the boat. It's 80 degrees in Tampa. Why not throw a few back and, hang out with the boys?
It's very true. Gronk had a good time. Gronk's dance moves need a little work, but...
yeah.
Well, but I love Gronk. We love Gronk. Voldy, before we wrap this up, how do you think Belichick's feeling right now? What do you think about that? Brady gets his 7th a year after he leaves. Is this kind of a screw you to Bill Belichick from Tom Brady, or what do you think? And the Zoners chime in too.
I think there's a lot of emotions that go along with it, especially with Belichick and the fact that now it proves that it was, obviously Tom Brady. He's the one that went out and did it because of obviously all the conversation with Bruce Arians. He just let Tom Brady go. Just let him be the coach out on the field. If he sees something that he likes, just let him go, as opposed to the way things they kind of did in Tampa Bay. It went through Belichick, it went through McDaniels, and then it went through Brady as well. But as the years did progress, obviously Brady maybe had a little bit more leeway. But, obviously this is the upper hand now with the likes of, Brady on top of Belichick in that respect. Now it's just Belichick and the Patriots' turn to return the favor, if you will.
True. Very true. So we'll see what happens with that. I think, Belichick is punching air right now as the train's going by in Woods and Shore Studios. Can't do anything about it. Yeah, quiet over there. Jeez, I'm already sick of it because I'm sick of it. So, but anyway, Voldy, I think it's time to get to Air Raid. Had a lot of Super Bowl talk. But you know what? Actually, before we get to that, I almost forgot. Voldy, you made a prediction. Not, I think it was in season 1. I want to play this real quick. It's very short, so let's get to it. Zoners, chime in. Let me see what you think.
It's got my stamp of approval, but I want to look right here into the camera. I want to get serious here for a moment. I'm going to make a bold prediction here, and you can bring this back for absurd statement of the year. I look into this camera, and I tell all the zoners out there that Tom Brady and Bruce Arians, Rob Gronkowski, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are winning the NFC South Division Championship and will make a serious postseason run. Now, I know that's an open-ended guarantee, but I definitely want to at least have some sort of merit if this does backfire on me, but they are winning the NFC South Championship.
All right. So, the thing is that they didn't win the division, but they didn't, I mean, they had better than a run. They won the whole darn thing. So
they did.
There's that. But I just wanted to play that for the zoners just so, in case people forgot. Voldy,
let's talk about the fact that's a completely different person, too. That's probably about 40 pounds and about, 18 inches of hair later and a mustache on top of it. And a completely different setup, too, here from the Woods and Shores studio. But my God. Yeah. I mean, we'll give half credit on the prediction there. I mean, you got to throw yourself out there a little bit.
Well, you have to. Exactly. I mean, there's a reason why I'm wearing my infamous Jameis jersey today.
Yes,
because
sir.
With the Buccaneers and whatnot. Missed out on a ship there, infamous Jameis, so there's that.
Tough bounce, Chief.
Yeah. All right, well, Voldy, let's get to Air Ray. We got a lot of fun ones to get to, so let's get it rolling with some absurd or approved.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, it's time for Absurd or Approved. So, Voldy, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
Well, of course, 2 weeks after the Minnesota Vikings unfortunately parted ways with the retirement of Gary Kubiak, a new offensive coordinator has been named, as it was back on Monday. Klint Kubiak, that's right, the son of Gary Kubiak, has been named the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings, now making it the 7th offensive coordinator in the last 7 seasons for the Minnesota Vikings. Of course, he takes over the position after serving as quarterback coach the last 2 seasons for the Vikings. Absurd or approved, the Vikings announced Klint Kubiak as offensive coordinator.
Well, honestly, to be honest with you, I didn't see this one coming. I guess I had no clue that this was going to happen. I mean, but apparently, Zim is just saying, Zim is making fun of me right now. No, I mean, here's the thing. It's got my stamp of approval. The Vikings have been through, how many coordinators? 6 or something like that?
6 or 7.
6 or 7.
6 or 7 seasons.
Okay, 6 or 7 the last. And
it's been a different coordinator at least since 2014 or something like that. So,
which is crazy in itself. And DiFilippo didn't work out. Okay.
Yep.
Shermer obviously did really well. And he moved on to get a head coaching job. Same thing with Stefanski. I mean, they're great. The thing is that, other teams were just, chomping at the bit to get these guys as head coaches.
Yep.
Now you look at Gary, he retires. Okay. And the Vikings did, I think, one interview with a guy from the New York Giants, and I think they're just kind of trying to get a feel for what's out there. And honestly, I think this makes sense. I mean, Clint's young; he's 33 years old, but I believe that he's going to add some more interesting things to the offense. We get it; it's the run first, play action type of deal. Okay, and Victor sums this up perfectly. Approved, simple, will keep the same system while hopefully injecting some new ideas. And that's exactly what I'm saying right now. And there has been questionable things that Kubiak had, okay?
Right.
His dad did. But again, I thought Kubiak was very good. There's a reason why the Vikings were like a top 5 top 10 offense in the NFL. And you have Dalvin Cook, Thielen, and then you have JJ, of course. So there's going to be it's going to be the same in a way, but I feel like he's going to add some flavor some new plays and things like that to, jazz things up. And who knows what weapons they might get, too. I mean, depending with Rudy and whatnot. So, Mets brings up a good point here. Zimmer has to let Klint do his job. And I hope he does. I really do. Because I think Zim needs to know, too, like, hey, he'll do the same thing, Gary did, but he's going to add some new stuff because you have to. The thing is, you can't keep doing the same thing all the time. It's just, that's how the NFL works. So it's got my stamp of approval because the continuity, Kirk trusts them. Let's get it going, see what happens. So, yeah, it's got my stamp of approval. Voldy, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's got my stamp of approval, too. Continuity-wise, you want to keep as much of the same as possible, especially with a changing staff, too. Klint Kubiak, he's been there. He's been in the meeting rooms with him as well. I mean, there's no question about it. It's the right move as well. Let's just hope he takes those same offensive moves that were made in the last season and just expand on them a little bit more.
Yeah. And I also think, too, that you have the guys you need to make this offense very successful. Mm-hmm. And they'll be able to do that. Now, with the play calling and whatnot, it's going to be new. But, again, I think the league is leaning more towards younger guys, too. I mean, look at McVay, look at Shanahan. LaFleur, as I should say right now. But, again, the question is Zim going to let him do his job? Now, DeFilippo, I think they're on two different spectrums. I think Shermer was on the same page. So, I mean, there's not anybody that say, I can't work with him or anything like that. But Zim, I agree. Zim has to let him do his job and see, how it goes. But, yeah, I think this is the right move. We all knew it was coming. It was just a matter of time. So, we can just kind of end it like that. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, Major League Baseball and the Players Association did come to an agreement on starting the season on time, which is actually 1 week from today. Pitchers and catchers report. Everybody's excited about baseball season. But one added thing that did come early this week is the addition of 7-inning doubleheaders and runners on second base to start extra innings will return for the second straight season under an agreement for 2021 health protocols between the Players Association and Major League Baseball. One thing that was not added was the expansion of postseason teams from 10 to the supposed actually 16 teams it was this past year, as opposed to adding 14 teams to the expanded playoffs this year as well. Absurdo approved double headers and runners starting on second extra innings going into the season.
How many things do they have to shuffle now?
I don't know.
Nowadays. It's so crazy. But apparently, from what I read from the article that you have posted, Voldy, the managers actually are kind of liking this. Here's one from Dusty Baker, and let me read this here real quick. Dusty Baker says, we'll keep agrees with the keeping Experian because it saves pitching during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And I think we talked about that before. I don't mind either rule besides what are you going to do? Okay, and then, another manager, Bob Melvin, says, I actually liked both the 7th inning doubleheaders and the runner on second. I was skeptical at first, but they were successful in my opinion. So it seems like everybody is on board. Reading this article that you put on, Voldy, I don't see anything that's out of place besides maybe the runners. I just think that's odd because then you're just kind of changing the aspect of the game and just like, you get a free runner on second. It's like, well, I guess I don't really fully understand that, but
right.
That's something that I put up. I mean, Victor's saying right here, prove the double headers. I like double headers. I think they're fun.
Absolutely.
Too. Absurd on the runners on second in extras. Yeah. I think it's them. It's the MLB saying, speed up the game. Someone's got to win. So we're just going to throw us a runner at second. So it's kind of a two-parter, stamp of approval, doubleheaders. I think it's a little absurd with having the runner on second. Just all of a sudden, oh yeah, you get it in the extras. Here's a runner. Like, okay, interesting. Voldy,
Right.
what do you think?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to the fact that, doubleheaders are a part of baseball. That's old school baseball right there. Just back in the day. That's got my stamp of approval. The adding runners on second and extra innings makes it feel like a T-ball game or something like that. It's like, okay, everybody, go out there and try your hardest. But it's just like the game could be over after one pitch in that extra inning, and then you kind of feel shafted with that game as well. Because, honestly, when you start getting into 14 and 15 inning games, the best part is now you get to start to see position players out there pitching as well. And those are the guys out there that say, oh, yeah, I used to pitch back in college, 10 years ago or something like that. And it's got my stamp of approval on the doubleheaders. I think Major League Baseball, again, is just trying too hard to try to make it more appealing to the general masses. Again, you either like baseball or you don't. It's that simple as well. There's other sports. You got basketball. You got football. You got hockey. You got soccer. You got lacrosse. You've got underwater basket weaving in the Olympics. I don't know. You got anything and everything. If you like baseball, you're fine. If you don't, well, there's the door. There's plenty other options for you as well.
What do you think of what Metz said right here, Voldy? Rather have universal DH than a runner on second.
How about neither? National League is meant for pitchers to hit. And I keep saying it. Nothing is more hilarious than seeing an American League pitcher step into the batter's box and try to become an athlete again. But if I had to choose, I'd probably take the runner on second just because of the fact I hate the National League having universal DH.
Except Big Sexy, though. Bartolo.
Well, yeah, that's fantastic.
You gotta love that. Especially when he can hit.
Big Sexy is what it is.
Yeah, oh, exactly. So,
especially in a Twins uniform.
Bring him back, because why the heck not? Why the heck not?
Pull out that rotation more.
Exactly. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, if you think the saying the rich can't get any richer, well, they certainly did. The defending World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers added a key piece of the rotation, signing the 2020 National League Cy Young Award winner Trevor Bauer to a 3-year, $102 million contract with years 1 and 2 having opt-outs and set to make $40 million in 2021 and $45 million in 2022.
Yeesh.
Absurd or approved, the Dodgers signing Trevor Bauer to this exorbitant contract.
Well, it just proves my point even more, Voldy. I mean, it's... I hate referencing the Twins in this, but it's true. Here's a team. And again, I understand bigger market, compared to the Twins' smaller market. And again, I'm not saying just Trevor Bauer, but they went out and they paid the guy. I mean, if you're getting, and again, getting the numbers here, 3 years, $102 million. $102 million. $40 million in 2021, okay? $45 million in 2022, okay? So it's just, it's frustrating, not only for the Twins, small market, we get it. But at the same time, the Dodgers went out, they got their guy. Here's where I think it's absurd. Trevor Bauer's kind of controversial. Isn't he? He's very controversial. Wasn't he the one that threw the baseball into the stands when he got taken out?
Yeeted that ball over the Kansas City crown in center field.
Right. Now, Victor says absurd. MLB needs a salary cap.
Yep.
I mean, he's not wrong on that front, but when there is none, some people need to take advantage of that. The Twins lack in that department. But, again, it's you look at the Dodgers, I mean, they're just trying to they're trying to reload here. And they go out and they get the guys they need. I mean, we get it. But is he going to implode? Here's something I want to bring up, too. After reading the article, Voldy, something that we have to make a note of. He made 10 starts. When he was acquired in a trade, Reds, with the Cleveland Indians at the deadline. Reds acquired Bauer in a trade with the Indians, at the deadline in July 2019. Made 10 starts. He was 2-5, 6.39 ERA for the Reds. that doesn't look good. Nope. And the question is he going to be the same guy? I mean, that's kind of the big thing. So I think first, I think it's absurd, the amount of money.
Yeah.
But it might be approved. If he's able to play at a high level, let's see what happens. So I think overall, I guess it's approved for now, but if it gets controversial, that could be turned to absurd really quick. So, Voldy, what do you think?
I think it's completely absurd, especially how ridiculous the rotation is going to be for the Dodgers this year. Obviously, you had Trevor Bauer. You still got Clayton Kershaw. David Price is coming back from injury.
Oh
you also throw in the likes of Dustin May. You throw in Tony Gonsolin and Julio Urias as well, who were, those last two guys, Gonsolin and also Urias. Those guys were afterthoughts at the beginning of the year, and they ended up being huge opportunities for them in the postseason leading up to that World Championship as well for the Dodgers. But I think it's just absolutely absurd because literally you're paying him $40 million this year. He could get hurt on one pitch.
True.
He could blow out his arm. He could blow at everything south of the Mason-Dixon line on his body, and it could just be all for naught. Is he going to be the same guy? I don't know. He's really had a real career surgence ever since he went to the Cleveland to be named later's. But especially when he came in with Arizona, he was that top draft pick guy. He was throwing foul pole to foul pole for warm-ups and all the weird exercises. And it didn't work out early on. Gets thrown into the bullpen. Then he goes to Cleveland, kind of picks up his career a little bit, really learns how to become a pitcher as opposed to a hard-throwing college phenom, basically. And now he's raking it in. 3 years, $102 million. Must be nice for Magic Johnson and crew just to be throwing that money around like it's candy at a parade, basically. But I think it's just absolutely absurd the fact that Dodgers even get better, considering the fact it was 1 year ago today the Dodgers got frickin' Mookie Betts from the Red Sox. Still bitter about that.
I feel your pain, Voldy, on that because I know you're pretty heated when that happened. But we don't need to revisit that. But yeah, I think it's absurd how many pitchers that they have. And as you can see, if you have enough pitching, you'll be okay. Mm-hmm. We'll leave it at that. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, this one, we go to the NBA for this story as well. In a loss 105-100 against the San Antonio Spurs on Monday, head coach for the Golden State Warriors, the great Steve Kerr, was asked about the fact that Steph Curry was sitting on the bench for a majority of the fourth quarter, which ultimately did lead to a loss against the San Antonio Spurs, asking about why he's not extending his minutes end of the fourth quarter to come out with those wins. And Steve Kerr blatantly just came out and said, I'd rather have championships than go out there and chase wins during the regular season, which is very interesting. Steph Curry playing 34 minutes a game, former two-time MVP. And you know what? Maybe not to the point that we're kind of seeing right now. Obviously, he's averaging 29.5 points in 33 minutes a game this year. So right around those Steph Curry kind of numbers overall. But is it absurd or approved, Kerr going in the long term for Steph Curry as opposed to the here and now?
Steph's the franchise. I mean, that's one thing you have to bring up because I think how Kerr's looking at this, he's already down Klay Thompson. I mean, Klay Thompson hasn't played for 2 years. And I think he's taking the smart approach with this. Now, the NBA tends to do this a lot. Ron's like, I need to rest, They're taking the smart route to it, but no one's really doing anything about it. They're just kind of letting teams just do that, which, I mean, I get it. You want to have rest and everything like that, and then you have, general soreness, Jimmy Butler, with his deal. Like, yeah, okay, he's hurt. Yeah, no. But it's one of those things where you look at Steph Curry, and if they want to win championships and things like that, you want to preserve them. It's like we don't want to chase wins type of thing. Steve Kerr's a smart guy. He's a very smart guy. So he definitely knows what he's doing in this aspect, and it seems like, Steph tweaked his ankle a little bit, but he says he feels good and good enough to go. But Golden State is definitely lost a little bit because, it's with injuries, and then Durant not coming back and Clay getting hurt and whatnot. So they got to look for, back to the Splash Brothers type of thing. And Steve Kerr knows, if I lose this guy now, it's going to be a completely different story. We could, be even worse off here. So I think Steve Kerr knows what he's doing. I think it's got my stamp of approval because I look at this and he's looking at the future of the franchise, which I think you have to in some aspect. And in some aspects, you just got to let the guys play too. But I trust Steve Kerr and what he does, so I don't know.
Yep.
Voldy, what do you think?
I look at this from the situation. I mean, Steph Curry is on borrowed time right now. With as many injuries as he had, he's even coming off a broken hand as of late. The ankles, everything basically south of the waist is being put together literally each and every night with tape, tight socks, and basically, Under Armour clothing, which he is a part of, by the way. He's an Under Armour sponsored guide. But you throw in the fact, too, obviously you're thinking long-term, because without the wins, you're not in place to make a run for a championship. Obviously, Klay Thompson being out, that's a big problem, too. Hopefully they can get back to those teams early on in the dynasty that is Golden State Warriors that were such a great part to enjoy early on, especially with Steph Curry hitting anything that was basically within the white lines of the court as well, be able to throw up those shots, too. I just look at it from the standpoint, Kerr knows exactly where he's coming from. He battled a lot of injuries in his playing career because he's seen it firsthand. Even as a coach, too, when he had to go out for all that time with the back surgery, and Walden had to step in for a little bit as head coach for Golden State, too. I mean, especially when you throw that into the mix, too, I think it's completely approved because, let's just say it, because Steve Kerr is a player's coach right there. He knows ins and outs of how everything works from the player's perspective, from the coach's perspective, and he knows exactly what his players need. And obviously, Steph Curry needs the rest. And you know what? If you lose a game or two in the regular season, that's fine. Those rested minutes in the regular season are going to help out when you need him to play a double overtime game, Game 7, the NBA Finals.
That's a good point. It's a good point. And it makes sense in this regard. And it's definitely something to where it's very controversial in the NBA too. I mean, there's some people that think, "Oh, you got to play them no matter what." I mean, they say, "Oh, losing sucks." They're 12-12 and whatnot. But honestly, it could be worse. You could be the Wolves. So there's that. Next one, Voldy.
Well, this one, there's been a little bit of an update as of in the last few hours, but the Dallas Mavericks of the NBA have actually stopped playing the national anthem before home games at the direction of owner Mark Cuban, as he did confirm on Tuesday to the media. The Mavericks do not plan to resume the tradition of playing the national anthem for games in the future, as he did announce this as part of a way that, the Mavericks haven't even played the national anthem for any of their 13 preseason and regular season games at American Airlines Arena, especially when you throw in the fact that the NBA's rulebook requires players to stand during the national anthem, but, they have declined to enforce that rule as well, with some players kneeling during the national anthem, and even you throw in the fact with the Black Lives Matter movement. This is more of a political thing that maybe you and I are a little bit more uncomfortable talking about, but absurd or approve the Dallas Mavericks not playing the national anthem.
The funny thing is, I was watching ESPN here before we came on, and Mark Cuban explained, why they decided to do that. Right. And especially in this time of, social injustice and whatnot. And, I don't want to get too political here because that's not me. I'm the type of guy that kind of looks at things fair for everybody, okay, right? And it's something to where that's their decision, and I understand from that perspective. why you wanted to do that. But at the same time, I feel like the national anthem is something special too. And it's, with everyone explaining that, it looked, and Adam Silver kind of taking care of saying, no, everyone's got to play the national anthem before this becomes a bigger issue, because then you have all this controversy and whatnot. And, if you think it's absurd, that's your right. No one's going to judge you here. And if you think it's a stamp of approval, then I can respect that too. Now, is it absurd that they didn't, or that they, said no to it, not playing it? I don't know. That's kind of the big thing. I don't know what the thing is you have to look at the situation from both perspectives, okay? And we want to be united, right? We all do. And the Dallas Mavericks, I mean, it hasn't been an issue until coming up here, too. So, I believe, in my humble opinion, I feel like every team should stand for the national anthem, and if you decide to kneel during it, okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. Or, do something else with it. But we want to be fair to everybody, and that's kind of the main thing here. So I can't really put a stamp of approval or an absurd thing on this, because it's just how it is right now. And it's a touchy subject too, but I'm just giving you what I think, and if you disagree, then that's fine too, okay? And, I can respect it. Met says, the big question is, why did it take the NBA this long for the NBA? That's a good question. I don't know. Then that's a question for Adam Silver, I think. So we'll see what happens. Voldy, what do you think?
Obviously, everybody wants to make a statement about how the world is nowadays, whether it be related to COVID-19, vaccinations, Black Lives Matter, social injustice. That's their right. That's the beauty of living in the country that we do, in the time that we do, because it wasn't all that long ago that there would be outside forces that would hush any opinion that wasn't in line with certain people's beliefs as well. That's the beauty of the choices that we can make nowadays, as opposed to, even 30 years ago or something like that. 30, 40 years ago, we want to throw out a couple of numbers. I don't really know what to think. I have my own personal opinion about the national anthem. I mean, I have no problem standing for the national anthem. It's fantastic. It's great. When did this become a thing, and why do we, continue to do it? I have no problem. Absolutely. It's part of life. It's a part of, the start of any contest as well. It's a great way to remind people, of course, not only the people that got us to this point in the world that we are, and the fact that there are people still fighting for our freedom each and every day. Sure. I just think that, hopefully this is something that isn't, I don't want to say swept under the rug, but is handled at a more professional level compared to mass fines, sanctions, Mark Cuban getting, sanctioned by the NBA and everything. Because if there's anybody that's got enough pull in the NBA, it's definitely Mark Cuban, and especially what he's done for the NBA since he bought the Dallas Mavericks years ago as well. I can't really say absurd or approve. I just thought this was something that just needed to be talked about a little bit.
Sure. And, zoners, give us your thoughts. And this is a judgment-free zone, too. And, we're not going to condemn you either, whatever you think, too. So, it's, again, the Mavericks, that's their choice. And if that's what they want to do, okay. But if the commissioner says no, then I think you just need to abide by the rules. And that's... And, I can respect that. So, props out to Adam Silver for kind of just taking care of that right away. So,
boy, what a rough couple of years it has been for Adam Silver to take over the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but he's handled it tremendously. I think he has.
Well, his first big thing was handling Donald Sterling, and look how that turned out. He just put the hammer down on him.
And also, too, he's on the infamous list on mine, so...
Yeah.
I enjoy... he's definitely deserving on that list. But anyway, Voldy, we've got a jam-packed amount of Shield shout-outs we have to get through. So let's get it going with some Shield shout-outs.
Shield Shoutouts.
All right, Shield, who are you shouting out tonight?
Well, with the victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, there are a whole bevy of players that deserve a Shield shout-out here this week as well. Starting right up at the top of the list, besides the fact Tom Brady, there's another quarterback on that team that I still adore to this day. Backup quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Blaine Gabbert, a Mizzou guy who was a former first-round draft pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars years ago. Didn't pan out in Jacksonville, unfortunately. Became a journeyman quarterback for a few teams. Now he's a Super Bowl champion and also current president of the Tom Brady Clipboard Holders Association of America. So a big Shield shout-out to Blaine Gabbert, former Mizzou guy, now Super Bowl champion. Of course, back-to-back years, that means that is back-to-back championships for LaShawn McCoy. He was on the Kansas City Chiefs last year, didn't play a single down. Played a limited role this year, wasn't even dressed for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he gets a ring nonetheless. Was with the Chiefs last year, back-to-back championships a la LeGarrette Blount and Chris Long when they went from the New England Patriots to the Philadelphia Eagles back in the likes of 52 and also in 51 and 52, I should say, for those Super Bowls. But after 8 years of being a 1,000-yard rusher and an All-Pro, two-time Super Bowl champion for the likes of LaShawn McCoy. We got to give it up to a couple of former Golden Gophers and a few Minnesota natives as well, Super Bowl champions. Of course, we mentioned it quite heavily on the show, Antoine Winfield Jr. and even Tyler Johnson, former Gophers as well, and teammates. Brainerd native and former walk-on offensive lineman out of the North Dakota State University, Joe Haeg, on winning Super Bowl 55 as well as members of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Joe Haeg almost caught a touchdown, too.
Oh,
the city
so
of Brainerd probably would have imploded if that would have happened as well. But actually adding another one, I was going to write this down before I got on the air, too. But we have our first instance of a reality TV star winning a Super Bowl. Jonathan Franklin III, out of Last Chance U, is a Super Bowl champion. Was a quarterback for Eastern Mississippi Community College down in Scuba, Mississippi. Went to Florida Atlantic to play for the Florida Atlantic Fighting Lane Kiffins. Went from quarterback to wide receiver. Actually, before he went to FAU, he went to Auburn. Then he ended up transferring to FAU. Ends up on the Tampa Bay practice squad as a defensive back. Makes the roster. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL this year, so he didn't play a single play. But still, Super Bowl champion. You go from Last Chance U to the top of the mountain as a Super Bowl champion. Jonathan Franklin III. What a road it has been. If you want to check it out, check out season 2 of Netflix's Last Chance U. By far one of my favorite seasons after season 1, obviously, too. Still haven't watched I think it was season 4 or season 5, whichever one was the very last one. Haven't watched that as of yet. But we do have some somber Shield shout-outs here this week after Super Bowl 55. Unfortunately, it was announced the passing of ESPN baseball reporter Pedro Gomez, who passed away on Sunday, the age of 58 years old, a Cuban native who was a fixture not only for Major League Baseball, but for Latin American baseball players, too, specifically on Sunday Night Baseball. Always cool to see him interviewing players as well, of course, with the likes of Buster Olney and those guys as well for ESPN. But Sunday Night Baseball coverage won't be the same enough without Pedro Gomez reporting as well, especially when it came to the relations with Cuba and his pride as well for his heritage. But sadly, rest in peace to Pedro Gomez. We do have to wish a happy retirement to a couple of Grand Forks, North Dakota natives and a great lineage of hockey players out of the University of North Dakota. Jocelyn and Monique Lamoureux announced their retirement from Team USA after winning gold in 2018 with Team USA and 6 golds as well in the World Championships. But the best decision they ever made after their freshman year at the University of Minnesota, they say, not having it. They transfer back home and play for the University of North Dakota. before the program went defunct. That's a story within itself as well. But obviously coming from the great lineage of hockey players, J.P. Lamoureux, that's Jean-Philippe Lamoureux, the goaltender who was a stud in his time, Mario Lamoureux as well, a great forward for the Fighting Sioux back in the day, and their dad as well was a national championship growing up. But happy retirement to the Lamoureux twins, and of course they've got great things going on in their lives as well. They've got families, but obviously at the right time, the youth of the team for Team USA will certainly be something that will be something to watch and behold over the next couple of years for Team USA women's hockey. We do also want to wish a happy retirement. It was announced yesterday that old Cap Finn, Mikko Koivu, decided to hang them up Tuesday as a member of the Columbus Blue Jackets, which was still weird to say to this day as well, but hopefully he will be able to sign a one-day contract with the Wild here, maybe at the end of the season, to officially retire as a member of the Minnesota Wild. One of only maybe a couple players, if not the only player, to play 1,000 career games. He finished his career with 1,035, but 1,000 games with one team as well. Still holds many records, if not top 5, top 3 in multiple categories for the Minnesota Wild. But happy retirement to Cap Finn and also Mikko Koivu on his retirement. We do have to say rest in peace to one of the innovators in NFL, old Marty Ball, Coach Marty Schottenheimer, who was put in hospice care a little bit over a couple of weeks ago, but he sadly passed away Tuesday as well. So we do send out our condolences to the Schottenheimer family. His son, Brian Schottenheimer, still in the league as well as an offensive coordinator, currently with the Seattle Seahawks, but who knows how long that relationship will last, with a little bit of tension over there as well. But sadly, rest in peace to the old football coach, Marty Schottenheimer. And speaking of football, we got to send a big shield shout out to former Vikings quarterback Taylor Heineke, who signed a 2-year deal, $8.5 million with the Washington football team, as he finished the season playing in that wild card game and a heroic performance against the eventual champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So big shield shout out goes out to Taylor Heineke. Much success in the future. That's going to do it for shield shout outs this week.
Whew, that was a lot of them. Oh my goodness. That's probably our longest one. I got to say, Voldy. I think that's pretty doggone close. But great job, again, with shield shout outs, Voldy. A lot of great ones. Mikko retiring. I can't believe it. I mean, I thought he was going to play, the full year, but I guess he's just done, which I can respect.
Wasn't going right. Inconsistency on his play as well, and he just thought, you know what, I don't have it, so
I'm going to head out. That's kind of how he's thinking right now. And then Marty Schottenheimer, Pedro Gomez, man, it's
rough week.
Yeah, rough week and whatnot. But anyway, on a happier note, though, zoners, we have things that you can purchase, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Not only do we have MinneZona stickers, just a reminder, if you want a MinneZona sticker, these are $2, okay? This is $3. If you want a big bumper sticker, get these for $3. Very simple.
These are $2.
Those are $2, yes. These are $3, so if you want a window decal for MinneZona, check it out.
These are $3 too.
Those are $3 as well. So we have options, as the Curve Doctor likes to say, here on MinneZona Sports Live. So if you guys want to check that out, check it out. We have shirts as well. We have shirts. $20, $5 shipping. Not only that, we have sweatshirts as well, okay? $40, $5 shipping as well. You talk to me, you talk to Voldy, you talk to Jimbo, you talk to the Curve Doctor. We'll get you set up. You have the Venmos, you have the PayPals. We'll get you set up. Carrier pigeon, whatever. We can get you in. I mean, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. But the stickers are available, so make sure you check those out. Shirts, sweatshirts, we got you set up. And also a big shout out to National Fleet Graphics for making those awesome stickers that Voldy just showed you not too long ago as well. And then Crown Rental for helping us out, getting us some of the cool stickers as well. So shout out to them and Tyler Knudsen. And there's another crew that we got to shout out to, the Barbell Nerds, their podcast. Yeah, we do. They're doing great things as well. They have a new episode out. And also, Will Rattel has, the thing is, the pun is intended here. He has launched 1.0. So make sure you guys check that out. A lot of cool things as well with that. I know, but I couldn't resist. But make sure you check out W2 Performance, the Barbell Nerds with Will Rittel and Sean. Then also check out Jack's Junkyard. Season 2 is coming up here, I believe. So make sure you guys are tuned in for Jack O'Keefe's show and check him out as well. So that's going to do it for MinneZona Sports Live this week. Voldy, we were in on Sunday. Now we're in today. I mean, we're just putting in the work this week, and it's great.
Yeah, we are.
It's so much fun. So, and again, appreciate all you zoners for tuning in on Sunday and today, or tonight, I should say, as well. I think we'll be back Wednesday with more show, more fun, and who knows? Maybe someone will pop in. You never know. We'll get you set up with that. So, anyway, you guys have a great week, and always remember, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.